Hello. Let's get started using the Wild Unknown Pocket Animal Spirit deck. One, please. We have mouse. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Okay, detail-oriented, small-minded, nitpicky, nervous. Well, thanks a lot. Ah! The mouse has an innate desire to tend to the details. You may be detail-oriented. It often spends its days fixing, preparing, organizing, and scrutinizing. Unfortunately, a mouse personality doesn't notice when they've gone too far. Ooh. Soon they begin to have a limited and fearful vision of life and try to control every detail. Okay, so unbalanced. That's an out of balance energy. This can be quite a painful experience for both the mouse and those around them. When mouse energy is at play, step back for a moment. It may be time to find a more purposeful project to delve into, one that's worthy of your exacting eye. When in balance, organized, resourceful, prepared. When out of balance, busy with no purpose. Interesting, okay. To bring into balance a meaningful project. Okay, let's go back to the when out of balance, busy with no purpose. So what does that make me think? Just to be busy. Empty effort. For some reason, it makes me think. Makes me think, doing things with more intention. So avoiding wasting energy. Busy with no purpose. That makes me think looking for distractions. Escaping from something. So avoidance. It makes me think of, avoidant personality. Or avoidant, what is that called? Avoidant attachment style? So there's something deeper there. When we're moved to just be busy, but there's really no purpose behind that action. It seems more like an escape, right? Avoiding facing something. Okay, and I'm going to repeat this part. A mouse personality doesn't notice when they've gone too far. So lacking in self-awareness, lacking in self-awareness and self-reflection. Blind spots. But as humans, we all have blind spots, right? Okay, that also makes me think lacking perspective. It's a perspective issue as well. Lacking perspective. Because if you're tending to the details, the opposite is seeing things from a wider perspective. Getting lost in the details versus pulling back to and seeing the big picture, seeing the bigger picture. Okay, I have a cat here. He has the zoomies right now. It doesn't last too long. Soon they begin to have a limited and fearful vision of life. So that makes me think of, perspective, mindset, fear-based, limited, scarcity mindset. And try to control every detail. Fear. Fear is big, right? F-E-A-R, capital letters, fear. Yeah. The feeling that we need to control every detail. It's coming from a place of fear. So there's a lack of trust there. It goes really deep, actually. A lack of trust in the divine, feeling forsaken or abandoned by the universe. And therefore, in that type of mindset, we think that we need to control everything, that everything falls on our shoulders. So going back to busy with no purpose, it makes me think it's a coping mechanism. It's a coping mechanism. There's a deep-rooted issue there. A coping mechanism due to a deep-rooted Deep-rooted wound. Wow. Didn't think we'd get that deep with reading about the mouse. Well, that's kind of like what shadow work is, going within, what inner work is, right? You keep digging and digging and digging. It's rarely what you think is the cause, the surface cause. Like when we get triggered, for example, the cause isn't what seems to be the immediate cause. We're triggered because there's something already within us, deep within us, that's being triggered. And something or someone just happens to say or do something that triggers something that was already deeply embedded within us, a pain deeply embedded in us already, and we just snap. That pain, that deeply buried pain, awakens because it wants to be processed, acknowledged. But if we feel like we're not ready to do that, yeah, that's one of the coping mechanisms. We just do stuff to keep busy, escape from the problem. 12:12 when I looked up. Okay, well, where shall we go next? Let's try the Find Your Own Way Oracle. Collaborate with the divine. Look at all these orbs. You may be seeing orbs. Co-creating with the divine. Your sacred garden. Self-care, self-love, treating your body as a divine vessel. Makes me think of Mother Earth, seeing her dark brown hair. Looks like a tree to me. Tree trunk. She's lying in nature, healing, grounding, getting rooted. So not only is she treating her body as her sacred garden, but indeed Mother Nature is her sacred garden. And I'm noticing the key here on her heart space. Makes me think love is the key. Self-love is the key. Loving yourself is the key to inner peace. She looks at peace, just relaxed, closing her eyes, at one with herself, at peace with herself, and at peace with nature, in nature. she actually looks a part of nature, right? Like I thought this was a tree. When the first time I saw this card, I thought I was looking at a tree. Then I realized it was her hair. Now that makes me think of oneness, right? Unity. How we are one with all of creation. Interconnectivity, interconnected. Which ties in with collaborating with the divine. We are all in this together, interconnected. And sometimes, in trying to tie what I just said in regards to what we read about the mouse, about being a bit too detail-oriented, doing things, just keeping busy with no real purpose or intention behind it, it being mainly a coping mechanism of escape. And sometimes how paying attention to the details, getting lost in the details, we lose track of the bigger picture. So when we get lost in the details of our own lives, we lose that perspective of how we are all interconnected with all that is, with all of creation. Boundaries, not limits. Having healthy boundaries, but being also open-minded as well. Practicing discernment of when to enforce your boundaries, but also when to loosen your grip, so to speak. To not protect yourself so vehemently that you don't experience life. Boundaries, not limits. Also, that makes me think of just limitless possibilities. And I'm noticing the spiral shape here on the snail. I'm guessing this is a snail. The spiral, yes, again, the theme of interconnectedness, the cycles of life, eternity. How despite in this third dimension, time is a construct, right? It's constructed in a linear way, viewing time in a linear way. But just looking at the journey of our lives, it's not linear at all, is it? It makes me think of parallel realities, multidimensionality, and how also we are multidimensional, multi-layered. We are complex. We are not linear. We can't be fit into a box. Making me think, look at the word boundaries, right? We're not meant to be confined. So now that's making me think we're not meant to be confined. Yes, having a more of a mindset of being limitless. Being connected to the field of infinite possibilities. The antennas here. I imagine the connection with the divine and also the field of infinite possibilities. Whew. Okay, so if that is a snail, I'm thinking it's possible that you're in a resting period. That time may be for you feeling like it's moving slowly. Anything else from this deck? Both of the, in the first two cards, both subjects have really long hair. Maybe you have really long hair, like waist length long hair. Ooh, courage within, a tiger. Courage comes from within. He's emerging from a blue heart. Emerging. Courage within. Well, this makes me think, and there are flames here, makes me think of the phoenix rising. Your courage is awakening, your inner courage. And looking at the flames, the orange shades of the tiger makes me think that you're feeling more energized and inspired. Looking at the blue, maybe you are expressing yourself with more confidence, with more authenticity, because your self-love is growing. Making me think of the heart chakra, all the greens. You're feeling more confident. The solar plexus, depicted by the yellow hues. You're feeling better about yourself. Now I'm looking at the Boundaries Not Limits card, relating it back to the message of the mouse being small-minded, having a fear-based, limited scarcity mindset. So that makes me think, yes, that may have been the energy that you were in the past. You had a limited mindset as opposed to a growth mindset, a mindset an abundance mindset. Now you believe in limitless possibilities. Anything from here? This is the Green Witches Oracle deck. Collaborate with the divine. Oh my goodness. This is, I think, the third time I've seen this card. Interesting. Hedge, potential boundaries, indecision. Boundaries, boundaries. Okay, so there's a strong message about minding your boundaries, having a more balanced, balancing your boundaries, because I'm noticing the scales here on the gate. Balancing between, yes, having boundaries, and I believe I already said this, but remaining open, not closing yourself off completely, especially not to overprotect yourself so that you miss out on life, or to allow opportunities to enter your life. Okay, almost half an hour. All right. Anything to add or confirm? Heartache, healing journey, heart healing. I think I mentioned the heart chakra, seeing the greens on a couple of the cards. Three of Swords. That would explain the tendency to be overprotective. Guarding your heart. but you're emerging. You're emerging, just like the tiger here. You are healing. We have the sun, optimism, joy, happiness, vitality. And I did mention the flames, right? You're feeling more inspired, more energized. Vitality. Okay, I just need to cover this. Here you go. The sun. Optimism is arising within you. Okay, collaborate with the divine. Okay, perfection. Look at that. The magician. Yeah, you're co-creating with the universe. 3131 when I looked up at the clock. The magician. Power, magic, ritual, manifestation. Yep. We have the lovers, love, romance, self-love, your sacred garden, and divine love. I need to cover them. There you go. The lovers, card number 6. Anything else? How about mouse? How about mouse? What would you like to? The Emperor. Well, look at this. From small-mindedness to the Emperor. Leadership, order, divine masculine. Yes, a balanced leader. Didn't we read something about organizing? That's the balanced mouse. When in balance, organized, right? When in balance, organized, resourceful, prepared. That is the Emperor, baby. Hello. Yeah, when out of balance, busy with no purpose. Oh, the Emperor is purposeful. Look at that. The leader. The leader within is emerging. Beautiful. Look at that. From a little mouse to the Emperor. I think I'm going to stop it there. 33:33 when I looked at the clock. Okay. Thank you so much. Take care.